Hey guys, it's Nathan Blewett, aka Xander here, and I'm joined with Matthew Tones for this Xmage Players podcast. I think this is the second episode, and we're talking today about a few things. One of the first things we're going to touch on is a topic that's something I'm involved a lot in, but we're trying to get more people interested in it, and that's content creation.
Yep, that's right. We've had a bit of a quiet off-season, I guess you could call it, but we want to sort of ramp it back up with the content. So there's probably more your domain. I do a bit of administrative work with the league, but the content's over to you. So what are we talking about exactly?
We're just trying to get people that are willing to commit their actual time and a bit of effort into creating what people want to see. So this is kind of touches on my next point of to the listeners, ideas for content and what they want to see. So we need people to, if they want to see deck techs, if they want to see on my channel, I do deck techs and gameplay prominently. But if anybody wants to see stuff outside of that, pitch it to us. We'll try and find group members that are actually active in the group, and we can get them to kind of put their 2 cents in terms of they can do videos that can go onto our channel of how-tos or way to play decks, how to play metas, how to prepare for events. It doesn't have to be 100% Xmage related. As long as it's Magic related, it's always going to be useful for, to us. So it's just that kind of stuff. So we just want to try and get gauge interest on people that are willing to commit.
Yeah, just to clarify that point, I think the main Magic platform is Xmage that we use. We are looking at branching into Magic Arena, MTG Arena, which we're going to talk about shortly, a little later. But for those curious, basically all you need is at the bare minimum, is a microphone and the program OBS, which is free. We have tons of tutorials for setting all of this up as well. And I mean, again, to throw the question back to you, Nathan, in terms of the creative aspect, what sort of input are we talking about here? Like you mentioned a deck tech. Can you explain what's involved in producing a deck tech?
So when I do my deck techs, it's just laying a deck out in your deck builder, or your deck editor on your actual Xmage, and then you just put it into your OBS. Again, this is all stuff that we can do. If people are interested in doing this stuff and they want to see tutorials, we can start doing tutorials on how to do a deck tech video and stuff like that. But yeah, it's basically just laying it out so people can see it, and then people having in-depth conversation about either how a deck works or what's in the deck, and just sharing it with other group members is the whole idea behind that aspect of it. But I'd like to see in some forms more how-tos from other people that are in the group would be a good thing that I'd like to see.
Yeah, and why do you think we're not seeing those at the moment?
I think it's just everyone's busy is probably more than anything else. Arena is taking a lot of people away from committing to the Xmage stuff, and yeah, as long as we can gauge more interest, it'll only get better.
Okay, great.
So, touching on the next topic, looking to do event calendars for in organising and scheduling event calendars in the future. Do you think this is a good thing, or is it something that's long overdue?
Well, it kind of, we might have to clarify what we mean by this, but because something like our leagues, and which tend to follow the same format, whether it's the Grand Champion League, the Super League, WIMS format specific leagues, they tend to be pretty open. You've got a week to play your match and schedule. Whereas we've tried a few times to schedule things at particular times, and people are just not. They just don't go there. That, like, Sunday 5 o'clock, let's have a modern tournament, for example. It's just in the past, again and again and again, just proven too difficult to get the people to do that. Like, we've tried to incentivize in various ways, but it's just never worked.
Yeah, I'm just pitching the idea of if we were to do an event calendar and actually just have it locked in, like get people that are willing to help organize this stuff and have it locked in so that, like Wim said in the previous episode, committing to every second Sunday is a draft or whatever this event is. But if we can lock it in so that we've got one person organising one event 1 week, and then it doesn't matter if there's only a few people playing in each thing, as long as we're doing the events and getting people playing. So with the event calendar, it'd be like, I'm pretty sure Google has a calendar that we can put all this stuff into. So the group members can go to that, have a look at it, and go, okay, in 2 weeks this event's on. I'll be sure to lock that in, or I'll make sure I'm free for that. We could do F&Ms, drafts, just weekend events, and then we could also calendar in when the big leagues are going to happen. Like, for example, the what is arguably the Grand Champion League or the Grand League or whatever it is going to be soon.
Hopefully we've figured that name out by the time of posting this podcast. One idea that I've had, and I'm certainly not putting my hand up for this, but is to get 4 people with webcams to play Commander and stream that live. That could be a pretty fun sort of scheduled event. Only requires 4 people, just to for the casual aspect, to sit back and watch the banter and so on. But yeah, that's one idea that I've had. But yeah, we'll have to.
I'm sure you'd find interest. There's a lot of people in the group that play Commander.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we can certainly look to fire as well.
Touching it back on Magic the Gathering Arena and how it's fitting in our group. What are we looking to do to implement inclusion of Arena?
I have had a few private messages from people asking. I think 2 or 3 actually asking about MTGO. Can I stream it on our group, and can I post MTGO videos? And we kind of decided on no. I think we had a moderated discussion about that. But I think as well we discussed Arena, and you're a moderator in case those people don't know. So you were in this discussion. Arena is probably long-term, certainly the future of Magic. So we're looking at ways now to integrate Arena and Xmage together. So we're probably going to morph into some sort of Xmage Arena group. What is holding us back as a group at the moment is the fact that there's no friends list on Arena, and you have this really funny sort of friend name. Like
it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. For my screen name, for example, was Mr. Mojo Rising. But to actually challenge me, I think you've got to type that and then hash some 4-digit number or something like that. So you got to...
Not only that, you've got to challenge them. So if I challenge you, you've got to be on Arena and challenging me at the same time for it to actually work.
Yeah.
I don't know why they've done it that way, but at least we can organise stuff and play people on Arena.
To be honest, I've never actually even played one game of challenge like that. I just play randoms all the time, but I think it means that we can certainly run an event even now under the current situation. We could run events on Arena. The only issue being is that some people, because you've got to sort of grind to get your cards, some people may have more powerful decks than others, whereas
the varying power levels would definitely be an issue for a lot of people that would probably veer them away from wanting to play at all.
Yeah, whereas Xmage, for example, you get access to every card that you want, so it's a level playing field right there. But I can certainly see an event pretty soon with Arena, like it's a test case, and what would most likely happen, like with other things on the group, say Pauper, Vintage, and so on, is we'd probably just run something very small just to test it and see what the response is like.
Yep. Just touching on Arena and our group, if you're not part of our Discord channel, just go onto our Discord, and we actually have in our chats now. It's available on... Sorry. We have Magic the Gathering Arena chat and Arena matchups are 2 text channels that are available to people that are on part of the Discord. So you can go onto our Discord and organise games if that's something you want to do, which is just great. So.
And I'll be the ignorant one and ask the question because I really don't use Discord very much. We see people all the time asking questions on our Facebook group, like is the server down or some annoying question like that. Is Discord, when you're talking about the arena, is this a sort of thing that where you go into the arena? Is it what's it called? A page or a thread or a group or whatever, and say who wants to play, and then do you wait for a response, or do you sort of come back hours later and see who's responded?
No. So when you go into Discord, a lot of it is you at stuff when you do it. So you at standard or at modern, and it you can pitch to. I can't remember how you sign up for it. I'll have to touch back with Will as to how you actually get onto it. I'm pretty sure you just talk to him, and he can commit your name to certain tags. So you say, I'm interested in anything that pops up as being at standard or at modern or at legacy. And the same thing will happen with arena. So if anyone goes at arena and it's something that you've flagged as something you're interested in, it'll actually notify you on Discord. So you'll either get a pop-up or your Discord will start flashing or whatever. So as long as you're on Discord, it should notify you that that's up. And a lot of the times there's, like at the moment, there's 47 people on the Discord online at the moment. So just adding, don't at everyone because that's a pain in the ass. But if you're going for a specific topic, it's something that's really handy to be able to do.
Yeah, because I notice on mine, like Discord, from what I understand, is your extreme left-hand side. I'm guessing you have multiple games or groups or whatever you want to call them. Whereas I can't probably bring mine up at the moment, but I've only got one, and that's Xmage. If it wasn't for this group, I wouldn't have Discord, and I've got 12.
Oh, really?
I got 12 unread messages, so I sort of have to go in and see where are these messages, and yeah, I can see the MTG hash or arena hash chat or whatever that straight line is called. Yeah, so yeah. I'm going to have to test this out, and I'll give some feedback later and see how it goes.
No, it's good. So one thing I wanted to do that's different from what the normal, what is going to be the norm of the quirky card. So we're also going to do that at the end. But one thing I want to touch on is it too good? Is a topic I want to just touch on here real quickly, and it's specific in regards to Arclight for Phoenix and it in standard. Do you think it's too good, or is it okay?
I think the issue here with Arclight Phoenix, I mean, it's apparent in Modern. I don't think it's an issue in Modern, but Standard as well. I think the issue, and I say this as we are about 7 weeks actually, because I counted for the league, 7 weeks out from Ravnica Allegiance, so we don't know what's coming. But I think the big issue at the moment is the lack of exile removal, something like a magma spray, which just rotated out, and also instant speed removal for red specifically. Black has a decent amount. It's cast down at 2 mana and murder at 3, but I think white has seal away. I think it's called the 2 mana enchantment.
Yeah, well, what's got seal away? What's got Conclave Tribunal and Baffling End, and a couple of different ways to exile stuff. But if you're not playing white, or you're not playing specific exile...
The point I was kind of getting at is that how Arclight Phoenix coupled with the Drake tends to one-shot kill you. So sorcery speed is not going to do it. So enchantments that operate at sorcery speed are no good. So you've kind of got Lightning Strike and Cast Down and Seal Away are the 3 major ones to deal with it. The other issue here that I like to bring in, because I play Izzet as well, is fiery something, the 3 mana sweeper that does 2 damage.
Cannonade.
That's actually pretty good against that deck because it hits the goblin, the 2 mana goblin as well. It doesn't take down the drakes, but again, drakes sort of highlight the problem of removal for red, because lava coil takes down a drake, but you're playing it at sorcery speed. Likewise with fight with fire and the bolt.
Lava coil's instant speed.
No, it's not. Lightning Strike is instant. Lava Coil is sorcery speed. So so I think it's a very good card, Arclight Phoenix, but I don't think it's and it's been in the top decks, but I don't think it's as good as what some people suggest that it is. The big issue, you just have to know how to play against it, because, as I say before, it tends to be the sort of deck that will one-shot kill you, so you have to prepare for that. One member of our group, Josh Grace, he's just qualified for the Pro Tour, and I believe he is playing this deck as well. I often play test against him. I think he's beaten me every time. I've never beaten him when he has that deck. So yeah, it's obviously very good. The other thing is, and that makes this particularly awkward, is that there's only, off the top of my head, 2 graveyard hate cards in standard: a Sentinel Totem and that Silent Gravestone. And Silent Gravestone does absolutely nothing when it's in play.
Yeah, it's useless, relevant to Arclight.
Yeah, it doesn't even stop, the flashback spells or anything like that. The only thing it can do is you can pay the 4 mana and exile the graveyard, but you don't really want to be holding up 4 mana at that particular point. And Sentinel Totem's not too bad, but
not enough people are running it though. You never see it in sideboards, which is really surprising considering it's the only decent one.
Yeah, I play it now because the good thing is your Crackling Drake, it doesn't affect because they go to exile and it still gets the power. And the same with the Bolt, the three mana Bolt, which its name escapes me at the moment.
Wizard's Lightning.
No. Sorry, I'm pretty sure it's called something Bolt. It's 1 generic blue red, and it's a sorcery speed, and it's got jumpstart as well. It's
Beacon. Is it Beacon Bolt?
Beacon Bolt. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's its only real card to take down huge threats beyond 5 power.
Yeah.
Oh, unless you play
just looking at Phoenix. So comparatively to everyone was up in arms when Nexus of Fate got released, and it was paired with Teferi, and everyone was saying how bullshit that deck was, and complaining and saying Teferi needed to be banned or Nexus of Fate needed to be banned. Do you think with Arclight Phoenix, that paired just with draw card or a lot of the draw discard stuff that is in standard at the moment, is what makes it so good? And it, obviously, if it's just one of those cards that if you're building around it, it's going to be better.
I mean, I think I mentioned Ravnica Allegiance before. I don't think it's the cards that make it so good. I think it's the fact that there's no effective cards to use against it that make it so good. I suspect that's not going to be the case come Ravnica Allegiance.
Yep.
We're probably going to see at least one more graveyard hate card. Or
a few more instant speed removals that'll answer it.
Yeah. Red will certainly, I think, get a 1-drop removal spell that will, like a Magma Spray. It wouldn't surprise me if Magma Spray gets reprinted at all. So that's the issue there. And in regards to the Nexus of Fate, if I'm sitting down opposite somebody to play, I play Standard Showdown every week. I got no problem playing against Phoenix, and I don't care if it beats me, if I get beaten. But I feel very dirty getting beaten by Teferi and Nexus of Fate.
So I roll into infinite turns and bounce all your stuff. It's not exactly fair magic.
Yeah, and that leaves you with a sour taste, whereas Phoenix is like, oh well, I got beaten by mid-rangey deck.
You always feel better getting beaten against aggro as opposed to combo.
Yeah, because I think most decks fancy themselves in some, particularly post-sideboard, against aggro decks.
Yeah. Just touching on my next topic, we're going with the card to watch. And this is a card that's popped up a lot in Standard at the moment and is an amazing card. It's ridiculous, really. But do you think Experimental Frenzy is a card to watch? Do you agree with me in terms of it being viable or very viable in Modern?
Yeah, I think the issue for Experimental Frenzy in Modern is that it's 4-drop and you're tapping out. You're tapping out on turn 4, which is not a good thing because a lot of decks will kill you at that particular point. So the only decks that probably don't are heavy control decks where you're probably not going to resolve it anyway on turn 4. If it's an aggro matchup, they've probably got you dead by turn 4. If it's some sort of combo, they're going to kill you the next turn. So I think it's particularly risky in that respect. Playing
it in, so you're saying in an aggro matchup, if you're playing Experimental Frenzy, it's very likely that you're an aggro deck yourself, so it'd probably cancel each other out. But resolving the Experimental Frenzy against an aggro deck can essentially light the fuse on your own deck and give you the upper hand against another aggro deck. Is the way that I keep looking at it, and I can't see. Like, I get the point that it's a 4 cost, and that's an issue for a lot of people. But it just does too much good stuff for me to think that it's anything but a good card.
I mean, if you look at it from this respect, so say in the aggro matchup, if you're an aggro deck, by turn 4, you're either got the advantage, and the other person is assuming a control role, so you're kind of giving them a turn off because you're tapping out for that, instead of pressing your advantage. Otherwise, the other person is the aggressor, and you're in the control position, which means you're behind, so you're tapping out on turn 4 and not improving your board state at all. So they're going to have another turn next to press further ahead. I mean, I think it certainly has merits against control if you can resolve it. That's the big issue, because generally in the current modern environment, if you fail to resolve turn 4, next turn they're going to bring down Teferi. On turn, the control player will. Or likewise, I'll just play Teferi and then bounce your tuck your frenzy away here. So I mean, I can see it. Red's been playing around with these things for a while. The other thing is, in standard at the moment, there's precognition field, which is kind of like a blue version, but I think it's for instance and sorceries only. But there's another card actually in blue. I'd have to look it up. I know Dan Scott did the art, but it's just it does the same thing, but I think it's got a more intensive blue mana cost. Also doesn't see play, whereas blue cantrip deck is a sort of thing that could take advantage of that as well.
So putting in a storm deck, so you don't have a hand.
Well, it's called Future Sight is what I'm trying to think of, but it's actually 5 mana and it's 3 blue. Also, the problem for Storm is they want to be playing what's their Storm card for 4 mana? Gifts Ungiven.
Casting Flames. Or
Gifts on turn 4. Yeah.
That's the card to watch. Just touching on the last.
Yeah, if I could just add one more thing to cards to watch. Those in the US will know every Black Friday TCG Player has a huge sale, and this year it was 15% cashback. So I tend to make a huge list and buy all my stuff on Black Friday so I can get the cashback. Store credit. And yeah, Experimental Frenzy was on my list, and I think it got down to about $1.30 to pick up. So I don't mind it for $1.30.
Yeah. So touching on the last thing, and it's the new segment that we've started implementing in our podcast. It's the quirky card, and today mine is Lazav the Multifurious, and it's specifically in regards to it being played in Legacy. Yep. So Lazav, for anyone that we'll have the card pop up here, but it's a 2 cost, so Dimir colors blue and black. It's a 1/3 legendary creature shapeshifter. When it comes in, you surveil, so you can look at the top card and put it in the bin if you want to. But it's a second ability is the reason that I'm saying it's an insanely good card, and I want to see it played a whole lot more. Is X Lazav Multifurious becomes the copy of target creature in your graveyard with converter mana cost X, except its name is Lazav the Multifurious. It's legendary in addition to its other types, and it shares this ability, and it has this ability. So the thing I'm looking at when I look at Legacy for this is Stifle Dread. So you can get your I can't remember his name.
Yeah, what's
the Dreadnought?
Yeah, we have one of our league players that plays that every week. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's a 12/12 trample for 1. But is it sacrifice unless you pay something? So you stifle the trigger?
You sacrifice 12 power worth of
that's the one.
Creatures, or so sacrifice it.
Traditionally, they play Stifle or Torpor Orb to stifle that trigger.
Yeah, but with Lazav in the deck, you can turn 1 play... So if you don't have Stifle, obviously you still have the Stifle plan, but turn 1 you can play your Dreadnought, immediately sacrifice it. So it's Phyrexian Dreadnought is the card that I'm talking about, and it's comes in, turn 1, you sack it. Turn 2, you play Lazav, and then proceed to, in the following turns, have Lazav as the 12-12. And then if they answer the Lazav, that's when you can just start playing a Dread and stifling it, or continue to play the normal plan. But just having that in that deck as a key piece is something that I reckon is really cool. So that's my quirky card for the day.
Yeah, and so do you still play Torpor Orbs, or is it all Stifles?
I think it's just Stifles in the standard Legacy deck for the Stifle Dread. I think you run Torpors if you're running the... there's a couple other really cool funky ones that's like Haunted. I can't remember what it's called exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to have to, in advance, apologise to whoever the group member is that always runs this deck, because I commentate his matches every week, so my mind's just gone blank. But yeah, he had a black creature as well that gives the opponent 2 3/3s, I think it is. That's another common type.
Hunted Horror, which is another card that we're going to bring up.
Yeah.
So it's for two black, a 7/7 with trample. When it comes into play, you put 2 3/3 Centaur creature tokens with protection from black into play under your opponent's control.
Yeah,
but those 2 3/3s aren't as good as what you're going to have on your board, which is great. Yeah, so that's another creature that Lazav will be able to target. As
yeah, because
well. So
I guess my question here is more of a rules one, because Phyrexian Dreadnought enters the battlefield trigger. When the Dreadnought comes into play, so I assume then when Lazav, what does he do? Does he mutate or transform, or
I think it's like a clone effect, except he's already on the battlefield, so you skip the ETBs.
So you don't actually need the stifle then?
No, you don't. You just become the 12-12. That's why I'm saying it's a really quirky way to do it, because you completely skip all of the negative effects. So even if you have the Hunted Horror in your graveyard, then he just becomes a 7/7 with trample, but you only have to pay 2 to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You've got me interested now, because
there's no downside.
Yeah. I think the whole plan hinges on the fact that there's no ETB here, ETB trigger, because that's a good one. So it's a turn 3, 12/12.
Turn 3, 12/12.
It is a pretty popular.
Turn. It can be turn 1 or 2 in Legacy, because you're always playing ramp. So
that's so. Yeah. Turn 1.
So turn 1, 12/12. All you need is Lazav, a Dreadnought, a Pedal, and a Dark Ritual, and a land in your hand.
That's getting toward Magical Christmas land right there.
I like Magical Christmas, so I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, no, I like your suggestion. And just to maybe to finish on this point, in terms of quirky cards, when Nathan said he's doing Lazav, I was like, because it's not quirky in standard. Everybody knows Lazav in standard. To qualify for our quirky cards, it has to be something quirky, and Lazav and Legacy is certainly quirky.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening and or watching Xmage Players podcast, episode 2, I'm assuming. And thanks for your Patreon support. And if you want to be involved in any of the events, helping us organize stuff, or the content creation side of stuff, let us know in either PMing us, letting us know on the group page, replying in the comments on this, or whatever. Just let us know. And thanks for listening and watching, guys.
Thanks.
And thanks for joining me, Matt.
Thank you.